What is good, people? Right now we're on the way home from work, ready to do a full day of eating. And guys, I've changed my diet quite a bit. I've moved towards having like a lot more micro, so a lot more vegetables. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys how I make the meals and how I kind of mix it in. Alright people, I'm now home, so what I'm going to do is cook. I'm going to go with my go-to first meal that I often have virtually every single day. But what I'm going to do is add a lot of vegetables to it, so it's a bit more, you know, nutritious and also filling. Before I go in the fridge, I thought I'd show you this. This is basically a list of some of the serving sizes of foods I have in a day, purely because I'm trying to memorize the different amounts, so I automatically will know in my head. Right, so I'm going to be cooking those foods in the frying pan. When it comes to what oil to use, it really comes down to your preference and what your actual goal is at the moment. For example, you have obviously the 1 calorie sprays you can get, or you can have like extra virgin olive oil or something along those lines. It all comes down to what calories you have to play with. If you're cutting, it probably makes sense for you to use like the 1 calorie spray, because it means that you can save more of your calories for actual food rather than oil. Whereas if you're trying to bulk and you struggle getting in calories, having the little bit of oil with your food is easier, and it makes more sense because that could potentially add on an extra 50 to 150 calories depending on how much you use. You don't have to have the 1 calorie spray. Neither one is bad. It all comes down to what your actual goal is and what's going to benefit you at the moment. For me at the moment, I'm going to use the spray. Alright, to add a little bit more flavour and actual, just a little bit extra veg, it's not like a massive amount. We're going to add onions to the pan. It really does add flavour to the food, especially when you have white onions. I also do like red onions, which I think, I've still got some left, which I use quite frequent. Now, red onion I almost put with every single meal. Just out of like necessity and just like ease of use, I went and bought loads of diced onions chopped up. It's cheaper if you actually buy, for example, an actual onion and chop it up yourself. However, sometimes when you're in a rush, you just don't want to do that, and personally I don't mind, for the convenience and making sure I actually use it when I'm in a rush, having this. I'm going to let that kind of heat through now for the next like another 2 or 3 minutes. Then I'm going to add one of these whole wheat wraps, which I've just finished the packet. These Weight Watcher wraps are really, really good. Surprisingly, I've always avoided them because I assume because they're Weight Watchers they're going to taste bad. But they actually are pretty good. They're 118 calories, which is a good 60 calories less than the other one I normally have. But they are slightly smaller, but I do love the taste. It's like they're in between the size of a small tortilla wrap and a large one. They're like a medium size, I would say. And there you go, a nice quick and simple breakfast wrap. You've probably seen me make this before, which is minus the vegetables. But yeah, this is really, really filling. 250 grams of turkey mince. There was, in terms of the onions, there's probably about 100 to 150 grams of onions, both of them mixed. And then mushrooms is about 100 to 75 grams. But yeah, man, I really, really, really enjoy this meal. It tastes really, really good. That's the best thing. It tastes really good, and it's pretty decent when it comes to macros as well. So yeah, I'm gonna eat this right now, and this is gonna be my first main meal of the day. And it's currently, what time is it? It's currently 2 PM, which is a little bit later than what I normally have, but yeah, it still falls within range. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is pick out some fruit to have, 'cause I'm getting kind of peckish. So I'm probably gonna have 200 grams of strawberries and half a packet of this as well. Alright, so I'm gonna continue eating these. Then I'm gonna go to the gym probably in the next 45 minutes. But as it is super freezing outside, as it's winter right now, so before I go, probably about 20 minutes before I go, I'm gonna have some hot chocolate. 40 calories per use of this. I'm gonna have this. I also have it with milk though, so it adds on I think an extra 30 calories. So roughly 1 cup, 1 decent sized cup of hot chocolate with roughly around 70 calories. I've been tracking it all in myfitnesspal, so I'll show you like the end result at the end of the day anyway. But yeah, really tasty. I recommend Options hot chocolate. Right, we're now back from the gym. So what I'm gonna do is make some food now, 'cause I'm pretty hungry. It's currently 6:30 PM. And before I forget, I might as well show you some of the supplements I took today. Not every single one do I actually remember to take every single day. The ones I actually remember is the curcumin, the turmeric thing, the CLA, and this one is probably the most regular ones I actually remember to take. On a good day, I remember the spirulina, the omega-3s, and this one's a new one I've only recently bought. But yeah, links in the description if you happen to care. I've spoke about these many times before, but yeah, these are probably my main 3 that I always remember to. As for the food now, we have a lot of options. So what we're gonna go for is the salmon. I think salmon's gonna be the route. I've been craving it for like a couple of days and I bought it, so yeah, I'm gonna go with salmon. I'm gonna have it with some chopped tomatoes, some veg here, and also the sweet potato that I had left over from yesterday. This is like a similar meal I have every single day. The main thing that changes the meat. Typically, the main meat I kind of have during a week is, I'd probably say 3 to 4 times out of the week is chicken, then one day maybe beef, and then the remaining is either salmon. I love having salmon. The problem is that I'm kind of addicted to it. I always have, for example, 2 fillets at a time, which is technically twice the serving amount. And if you know about salmon, it's really high in fat. So that's why this morning when I had my kind of breakfast wrap, I didn't have 2 or 3 eggs like I normally would. I had 1 purely because I wanted to save the fats in case I had the salmon, which is what I'm going to do. I'm also going to have some mushrooms with it as well. I'm going to chop up some red peppers. Literally I'm just adding as much veg as possible. Some onions there. Alright, so this is what we're going to have. We got tomatoes, we got the salmon, we got red onions, we got regular onions, we got some veg to mix in there. We got the rest of the mushroom I'm going to finish off, and a sweet potato. Then we also have some Baileys for dessert. I'm just joking. That's my mom for Christmas. And yeah, if you're someone that doesn't know how to cook, the easiest thing I can give you an advice is trial and error it, because obviously you have to time things well. For example, the longest thing that takes to cook is actually the sweet potato. It takes like roughly around 25 minutes in the halogen oven. I forgot what they're called now. There's a short name for it. Deep air fryer. So in the air fryer, this takes roughly around 25 minutes. Even though it's only a small amount, this is roughly around 150 grams. You know what? Let's weigh it just to make sure. Use my little scale. Let's see if I'm actually from that close. Yeah, literally. 148. As you can see, basically this is what you want to get to. For example, I've been tracking macros for these certain foods over the last 3 weeks pretty rigidly, to the point now I'm starting to learn portion sizes, and that's the biggest advice I can give someone, because then after a while you don't have to track all the time. You can start doing it intuitively. Like I just knew that I was around 150 grams because I've weighed it out and looked at it so many times over the last 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to put this on first, and then because salmon, it's fish, it cooks pretty quick. It takes like 15 to 20 minutes on a high heat. I'm basically going to just chop this up now, put it in the oven, put this in the air fryer, sorry, and then I'm going to prep all the other stuff. For example, I like seasoning the vegetables so they taste good, so when I add it to the salmon it doesn't just taste bland. Alright, so you space them out nicely in the air fryer. Then all you've got to do is just give a couple of sprays just to make sure it doesn't stick to it. Also, this makes sure they don't get too dry. On the timer, this is the heat I often put it to, and I put it to around 10 minutes, because by the time that goes off, that's when I can basically put the fish on, because it takes like an extra 10 minutes to make. Doesn't have to be a crazy amount, just enough seasoning so it has a bit of flavor by itself. Particularly the tomatoes, I don't really like the taste of tomatoes when like it kind of bursts with like the juice from the inside. Mushrooms, I'm personally, I like those quite a bit. But with the onions as well, that's already in the pan, that's already heating through. It's gonna have like a lot more flavor. I'm gonna add the salmon now because the potatoes just went off, which means I need to flip the potatoes, leave them for another 10 minutes, and then obviously cook the salmon. And yeah, be ready to eat because I'm starving now. Right, and if you happen to care about the total so far, obviously I'll tell you at the end. We are at 1,277 calories so far, including that meal you're about to see me eat. When I show you the meal, it is like a full pan, you know what I mean? It's like literally a full pan. It comes up to just under 600 calories, roughly 575 calories. So I can't wait to eat. I can smell it. It smells so good. Like if I show it you, it's a lot of salmon. That's a lot of food just sit in one sitting. Bearing in mind I've still got sweet potatoes there, and I may sprinkle some of the salad on top of it as well. I feel like we spent the whole video in the kitchen, but it is a full day of eating video, so it makes sense. But yeah, the biggest thing I can say is that with that meal, because it is kind of filling, I try not to eat it all in one sitting. I normally have roughly around 3/4 of it like straight away, and then maybe about half an hour to 45 minutes I'll eat the rest, and then I'll have my other meal later on in the day. It's just because I don't want to eat so much in one sitting and get bloated, but that food is what I need to hit my macros. So I either have half or 3/4 at the beginning, and then I wait maybe 45 minutes, my stomach's settled a bit, then I eat the rest, because I do get pretty hungry. You know what I mean? I only have mainly three meals in a day. 2 of them are bigger, and one's usually smaller, which is going to be the one I'm going to have later on. Alright, I think we're ready now, so we're going to add that to here, and get ready to eat. And there we have it. We got all the food in there, basically. The sweet potatoes, 3/4 of that pan of salmon and veg, and then obviously we got the greeny veg at the bottom. So yeah, I'm going to eat this now because I'm super hungry, and I'll get back to you when I'm having the next proper meal. And just to give you a time check, it's currently 7:10, so it took a little bit longer than usual to cook purely because I'm filming. But yeah, I'm about to eat this right now. I started watching Big Bang Theory again on Netflix. So yeah, see you guys in a bit. Right people, it's been around an hour or so now. It's currently 8:15, so I'm gonna go make something else, one of the last kind of proper meals to have for the day. So what I'm gonna go for is bacon medallions. I'm going to have 5 of these, which is 150 grams, which will be roughly around 40-45 grams of protein. So I'm gonna have that. I would typically have it in a bagel, but I don't have any bagels left, so what I'm gonna do is put it in a wrap. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. I did have 1 bagel left, but it was a bit dry, so I threw it in the bin. So yeah. I'm also going to add 1 whole egg in there as well. And what we're going to do is mix in some more of the salad and also some of the peppers, just because this is going off soon. So yeah, I'm going to mix in some of those. By the way, these are some huge ass peppers. They did not slice them that thin. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to try and cram in the 5 in the 1 if I can. Alright, and that is the concoction. Doesn't look the prettiest, but that is going to taste delicious. Green peppers, bunch of little mixed baby spinach, and just random greeny salad, and whole wheat wrap, and 1 whole egg in there. And I'm going to add a tiny bit of barbecue sauce to make it 3 servings in today's. As one would guess, it was a lot of food trying to fit in that 1 little small wrap. So I'm going to end up just like scooping it together like a taco and eat it like that with some on the side. So yeah, this is the last main thing I'm going to eat today. The rest I'll probably eat fruits and stuff, which I'll show you guys after I eat this. But in case you happen to care, this meal is the most low calorie meal I've had today, because this one only comes up to 460-ish calories. So yeah, despite it being pork, it's because it's bacon medallions. They're like lower than turkey rashers when it comes to like per slice. So if you're someone that really likes pork, try not for maybe bacon medallions, because they are like super low on fat and really low calorie, and they taste pretty good. I've never tried the Tesco one. I normally get mine for muscle food, but I ran out, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna eat this now. Come back to you guys in a bit when I've got the next meal. I just thought you guys hadn't actually seen me take a bite of anything today.
Yep, right here. Then when? What did he do? Hold on, man. Read this terms of service.
Alright people, today we are ending it. What time is it? It's currently 9:30, so we're gonna end today on 2 tangerines and also these little Hartley jellies. These are 5 calories per pot. Really tasty. This is a no added sugar strawberry flavor. So I'm gonna end on these 2. I think that puts me at roughly around 2,000 calories for today. I'll show you what the macros on screen. I think the protein is like almost 200 grams. Carbs should be fairly low. I mean, this is my estimation based off what we've done. I'm gonna guess maybe around 130 to 145 grams. Fats hopefully shouldn't be above 65. But yeah, that is my full day eating. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's literally just been the food today, because a lot of people were asking me what sort of foods I've been eating lately. So there you go. If you want to see one that's more in the vlog format, where I go out a bit more and actually take you guys with me, like to the gym, etc., let me know in the comments. Anyways, hopefully this video should give you some sort of tips of some future things to eat, and I'll show you some of the other diet things I've been doing, because I've changed my diet quite a bit. This is just one example of like a basic day. There's days when I go like even more veg and even more kind of micro heavy. But anyways people, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.